How's everybody going? How are you doing? It's your host Tom O'Mahony here. You're all very welcome to Buckshot, episode 31. It is 31, isn't it? Well, fuck it. It'll say it on the yoke. I'm pretty sure it's 31. We did have a bonus podcast over the weekend, the Swapcast. But this is episode 31 for the 25th of October 2017. I'm actually recording this on the morning of, so this should be up in the next 20 minutes as I'm speaking it. I was going to put it out last night, but I was fucking knackered. I was knackered when I got back in last night. It was late. I came back from Limerick last night, so housekeeping out of the way. I have just this minute changed my Facebook page to Tom O'Mahony Comic to match the Instagram, Tom O'Mahony Comic. Chatty Snaps is still Tom Bear O'Mahony, if you want to find me on that one. And Twitter, obviously listen to this one, Buckshot Pod. At Buckshot Pod or at Tom_O'Mahony. Whoever that fucker was that took the original Tom O'Mahony. He's probably listening to this going, I fucking got it, motherfucker. Fucking underscore, like. That's why I wrote the thing in capitals then, just out of anger. So that's all of that. Major comedy gigs the last two of the year for Buckshot. Peachtree one is nearly sold out as far as they're going good anyway. The Peachtree East venue, which is in Tallaght, that's November 17th. You can get tickets through them. You can reserve them over the phone or just send the guys an email or just pop into them. The grub is fucking unreal. Just check out. You should look on Instagram, Peachtree East, and look at the dessert thing they put up yesterday. I don't even know what you'd call it, but it's one of those fancy things. You know, you pour hot, like melted chocolate on it, and it looks like a sphere of chocolate, but when you pour melted chocolate on it, it dissolves away like something out of fucking Pan's Labyrinth, and there's just another chocolate thing inside that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus. I was licking the fucking phone. I will be getting there early that night to pig out. Or maybe just get him to... Yeah, fuck it, I will. I'll fucking pig out. And of course the London one. Very excited about the London one. I'll be there for a week, so I have a couple of small gigs lined up throughout the week. Pretty much just to get your fucking... Your head in the game, basically. If you're doing an hour-long show... and you're not a massive name, but people just know, it's good to kind of get an insight of where you are. Plus, it helps the promotion too if you're doing like 10-minute bits in clubs around the city, which I will be doing. But that's November 25th, Buckshot, the very final one of 2017, final stand-up. Well, I say that, but I'll be sneaking in the odd old gig. But my own show, the very final one, will be at London's Museum of Comedy. I'll again put the tickets in the link to this, but you can find the tickets on my Instagram or on the my own Tom_O'Mahony Twitter. So yeah, that's that. Obviously there's gigs coming up all over the fucking place anyway, but those are my gigs. Those are mine, where you'll get to see me, my very selfish self. So to Clonbell last week, that was good crack. Fucking hell, that was mental. I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did. I was down there. I was there with Dale Cronin of hometown boy band fame. Very good looking chap, but a local lad as well, and we're going to actually be in the Panto together, the Limerick Panto together, and we were judging a lip sync battle. And you kind of hear this and you're like, oh god. And I was doing it because my sister works for the company, and it was like, okay, fair enough, and it was for a good cause and shit. But I actually laughed my butt. Like, to say that they didn't, like, they took it seriously to the point that they wanted to mess the bollocks out. Like, the lads we gave it to in the end or just these three lads doing bootylicious. It was the most fucked up shit I've ever seen. Again, look at my Instagram. I think I put up one tiny clip of it because I wouldn't subject it anymore. It was just beyond bananas. One guy did like Kurt Cobain as well, like this lips, and he was nearly too good. He was real fucking dour, and he played Smells Like Teen Spirit, and then he bust the guitar off a speaker at the end. I made shit of the fucking guitar. It was fucking brilliant. But it was actually Jesus. There was no shortage of transgender representation anyway. Good God. Every second person, women were playing men were playing women. It was like they're all getting to live out their... A lot of blackface. A lot more blackface than I expected. There was one actually I was highly impressed with. We didn't give it to him in the end because... I don't know, we were just basically judging on points, whatever. But there was one crossover group that did really good thinking. It was John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John from Greece crossed over with Snoop Dogg. So it was one couple were doing the whole Grease thing. And then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, this guy in full blackface, massive joint, the whole lot, just kind of stood up and just started doing, what's it fucking called? It's the one with Dr. Dre from like the 90s. But they had it was, I don't know if this is a thing that somebody's done already on YouTube, but whoever did it, if they did it themselves, it was actually fucking fantastic, because they like sped it up to the beat, to the rhythm of the fucking Grease one. And it was like fucking amazing. And your man didn't break character. I was actually talking with him afterwards, and he does quite a good Snoop Dogg impression, but it was like, it was a mesmerizing, strange night. But a lot of fun. Oh Jesus, there was actually I just didn't stop laughing, because it was just fucking bananas. A couple of lads did fucking did the Rubber Bandits. They were very good. There was one woman did Michael Jackson. She was very good. Blackface, early Michael. But people saw it for what it was. It wasn't, it wasn't trying to be racist, right? Michael was black at one stage, and it was an impression of Michael when he was black. So I guess, But yeah, I was in Limerick then last night. I was in the Hurlers Comedy Club, which is part of the Hurlers Bar, and I had a different notion. I was thinking differently. I thought it was going to be the Scholars, which is the bar in UL, University of Limerick, and which is a hay barn. And any comedian will tell you, performing in these kind of bars. Myself and Tommy, on the Tom and Jerry show, myself and Jerry, we used to actually talk about these exact type of gigs, like where students are just left in for free and they're just balls out fucking drunk by the time you get on stage, and they didn't come for comedy. They just came to get fucking smashed, and you just happened to be the prick standing there with probably the telly on over your head trying to tell some dick jokes. So thankfully it wasn't that at all. It was in the Hurlers Bar, which is up the road, and they have a nice little fucking comedy club onto the side of it. Nice little crew in. But I remember pulling in, I was like, fuck, I gigged here like 5 years ago with Joe Rooney, and it was the weirdest gig ever. It was like the people didn't get... No, I mean, I was relatively new, but it was... Joe found it the same way. It was like, what? They believed what you're saying rather than actually enjoyed it and laughed at it. You get me? Like, it was a TED Talk. It was the most... But thankfully it wasn't like that last night. It was a lot of fun. But I won one over for the man. I won one over for the man last night coming back up. I came to the toll bridge at Portlaoise there, and by fuck, I was not backing down. No fucking way. I pull up just like I did last Friday. As I told you, I was in Clonmel, came up the M7 as well. M8 to M7, heading for Dublin. Came to the exact same toll booth window. For some reason, they shut down all the unmanned ones where you can just slip your fucking your Visa debit card in, and it just pops back out. And it's like, there you go, on you go. They shut all those ones down when they're down. Down staff. So you got to drive over. And I did it on Friday night. No worries, the guys just swipe my card. Have a good night. There's your receipt. On you go. I pull up to this weapon, and you know she's a weapon. Now, I'm not saying you got to be nice working on the toll, but at the same time, like, don't be a cunt, But when somebody's just got their hand out the window, looking in the opposite direction, like there's something else to see. There's nothing, just a row of other fucking toll booths. But she's got her hand out the window, so I just hand my card, and she just looks at it and goes, "That's a Visa debit." I went, "It is, yeah." Yeah, we only take Visa and MasterCard credit cards or cash. And I said, yeah, well, I was here about the same time, because it's like 1 a.m. I was here about the same time last Friday, and the guy just swiped it for me, and all your machines over there work on that premise too. So you can just, it was fine. And I was trying to be like, no, because she had that, like, you can't see my face, but if you do the face with me, you know that I'm going to squint up my eyes and kind of smile through my cheeks, kind of, like you're being an obnoxious prick. That's the smile she was giving me from the get-go. It's like, no. And I just went, all right, well, I don't have anything else. She goes, you've no cash? I went, no. Who carries cash nowadays? I had cash, but I was digging my fucking heels in. I wasn't breaking a fucking 50 for 190. Fuck that. I was giving this one an actual normal fucking way of payment. In fact, one that had worked 4 nights previous and works on all their other fucking machines. She actually held up the card machine going, this one Like she was speaking to somebody who'd never seen a fucking card machine or made a transaction before. This only takes Visa or MasterCard credit cards. I went, I beg to differ, because I was here and I explained it again. It's like, so you've no cash. I said, listen, it's not like I'm bartering. I'm not trying to fucking trade you an old bicycle for a trip through or fucking some jelly beans. I'm showing you a fucking Visa debit card, which worked on Friday night and which works at every fucking place in the country. Every shop in the country. Only in the night, even car hire places will take a debit card nowadays. And it used to be a credit card. And she wasn't happy. So I said it, she goes, I might have to ring this, there'll be nobody in the office to ring this through to. I went, well, we have a situation then. I pulled up the handbrake because I was loving it. I knew I wasn't in the wrong. Correct me, but I wasn't in the fucking wrong. She's like, it says it up the road. I said, where does it say it up the road? When was the last time you actually drove up to this toll bridge? Because I can tell you here now, there is no sign going, only accepted credit cards. Because it wouldn't have taken the other ones any other time I drove through here, on the unmanned ones. She's like, this machine? I said, look, maybe they've upgraded it in the last 7 years and you weren't told, or you haven't worked a night shift. But trust me, swipe it. It worked last Friday for the guy. She's like, so really you've no cash? I went, are you up to something? I couldn't help it. I went, are you fucking up to something? Because honestly, this looks like you're fucking up to something. I said, well, if he's not in the office up there to take your card number, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, I don't know what we're going to do either, because there's a line of cars already behind me and I can't back up the fucking motorway. So I was loving it. I was genuinely, I was in heaven. Because I just had the moral high ground. I knew she was lying to me, or she didn't know her job. But I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have been such a fucking sticky bastard if she hadn't been such a cunt from the get-go. Oh, just that fucking, that little, like I'm doing it now to the recording device, like you can actually see my face. But you know what I'm talking about. That, are you sure you don't, that patronising fucking, You're like, no, listen, just because you're a fucking idiot and things like this may confuse you on my side of the fucking thing, but trust me, I'm not confused. I know how this fucking works. You can't fucking take my money? Lift the fucking barrier. Because you're blocking up the fucking motorway, lady. Because you are fucking behind the times. But it was beautiful. Magically, she rings through, and magically there's somebody up in the office and they take my card number or whatever, and she's like, yeah, you're very lucky. I said, am I? Am I the lucky one? I said, you just got your 190. I said, because I was willing to sit here. I said, what were you going to do otherwise? She's like, so I said, yeah. And I won. Granted, I did pay it, but it was like, nah, I'm not breaking a fucking 50. Not when like I said, I didn't show up with a box of fucking bicycle tubes going, is there any chance you'll take these for a trip through your toll bridge, my lady? No. I turned up with a fucking Visa debit card, which works fucking all the time. Sorry for going off on the total one there. Anyway, moving quickly along. And if anybody has any toll stories, because normally they're very cheery, those toll bridge people. If anybody does have any toll bridge stories, I'd be delighted to hear it on any format. But yeah, today's a fun day. Tax returns today. Although I haven't gone up to date. I had to do a thing a couple of months back, and I had to get my shit in gear for it. So at least it's not an entire fucking year. Yeah, August 31st, for anybody who's a sole trader, you'll know that it's time to get in all your stuff. Fun. Also, I gotta fucking renew insurance on the car today. So all sorts of fun shit today. But this is a day where you gotta do all that shit one day of the week. And sort out your fucking... Be an adult, essentially. Fuck adults. Fuck being an adult, but... Especially when you work for yourself, you kind of gotta fucking do this shit. But anyway, how bad? You don't have to feel sorry for me. I tell jokes for a living. It's alright. So, what's coming up? Tomorrow night, we're back. Baker's Comedy Club is back. It's we were before the summer. We shut it down before the summer. It's myself and Paul Marsh's gig down in Clonmel. I'm back in Clonmel again, at Baker's Bar. Aidan Bishop is with us this month, and there's a couple of other lads. Jesus Christ, I'm a scandal. I should have actually fucking looked this up. Do you know what? I never pick up the phone during this, but I'm going to pick up the phone just see who in the Jesus is actually on. Let me see. Richie Bree, Kevin O'Sullivan, and I can't see who the other lad is. It's phased out on the whatchamacallit. Well, anyway, Doors 9 o'clock tomorrow. Get there for about 8:30. Clonmel, you know where it's at. If you're around, it'll be a good night. It's a great fucking room. It's a great looking bar too. Like, it just looks the part. It's real cozy up the front, real diddly-die old bar. And then you'd walk through the back and it's kind of a fucking... It's got that garagey warehouse fucking feel, you know, music venue kind of style feel. As I say that, we're bringing stand-up comedy to it. Oh lordy, I'm very excited. We're sitting down, myself, and before I do head to Clonmel tomorrow, myself and Gordon Rochford of the Conspiracy Guys are sitting down tomorrow. I'm going to be doing one of the Conspiracy Guys full podcasts, the big long one. It's about 5 hours long. I really hope he picks the lizard people one. I really hope it. Because I want, you know what I mean? I want the fucked up conspiracy one. That's the one I want. But we're going sitting down now. We're building my website tomorrow. So it's finally actually happening. So I actually have a fucking website. So we can culminate, gather all this. Collate. Isn't that the word? Collate. Listen to me. Jesus. Collate all this stuff together. Anyway, enough of Tom's shit talking. This wasn't the longest podcast in the world. I think it came in about 46, 47 minutes. Joanne was under pressure. Yeah. My guest, Joanne McNally. She is a stand-up comedian, a very good one at that, and we have gigged together a fucking bunch of times. And I was just saying it because she's had such an interesting, quick rise up through comedy, from the way of doing like theatre stuff to then doing stand-up comedy. But she puts in the fucking legwork, you know. Sometimes, and we talk about this a bit, you know, in the podcast. And sometimes, like, you'll be kind of going, where the fuck did that line come out? And no, nobody comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, now you can be found out fairly quickly, which will happen to you. You know what I mean? If you get thrown out in front of the baying public. But then sometimes in certain situations, we also talk about in this, like, you know, there's a bit of leeway given to you. Like, but in fairness to Joanne, she's working her whole off to actually fucking make this thing work in the way of stand up. And like that has gotten signed up by the big agencies and stuff, because there was a void in the market for a female, you know, at the time when she came along, because there wasn't enough. Now the books have been balanced in the last 2-3 years, all right, but she if you haven't heard of her, but you most likely have, if you're Irish at all, you probably have heard of her or know something she's been in. Actually, we talked about the different shows she's been in the way of theatre and stuff like that. But Republic of Telly is where she kind of popped onto the scene, and she was in, I know, oh fucking hell. But she's got a new show herself coming out, and it's about basically people who maybe are, it's a bit more serious. It's about people who have children and may not be overly happy about the fact that they have children. So it's about basically just questioning herself, is she up to having a child and all the rest of it. But she does like an agony ad section on 2FM with Eoghan McDermott, I think, or Chris and Ciara, I think. But either way, you're going to enjoy it. It's a fast-paced one, this one. Both of us talk at kind of 100 miles an hour anyway. So please give it up for the fantastic Joanne McNally.
Thanks very much for doing it, Joanne. You're under serious pressure everywhere. Non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, I was wondering. Yeah. I was like, because I'm off the booze.
Are you?
Yeah, I've been off the booze for a day. Yeah. And I was, if you'd offered me something there, I would have been like, oh, should I? No, I was like, no.
I was going to, and then I thought, oh, Joanna's a busy woman. She would have definitely said, I'll have a G&T otherwise, Tom.
I think what it is that, you see, the point, if they did non-alcoholic wine in places, I'd probably get into it.
Even in my own head, I'm hating myself for having this, but I really wanted the taste of a beer, but I can't go drive the fucking car to Limerick after this.
No, but I think non-alcoholic stuff is the key, the answer.
I think it is. I think it is, especially like if you're trying to get off the fucking sauce. Like. Yeah. And what's the plan for getting off? Why have you been hitting it too hard or what?
I have this very turbulent relationship with alcohol. Like
you're Irish, for fuck's sake.
I know. It's complicated. Like, I definitely drink too much. I don't have a drink problem in that I'd only have one drink.
Yeah.
I can have one drink and leave it at that, but I regularly have one drink.
Okay, yeah.
And my boyfriend was like, what's the crack? Do you think you can give it up for a month?
Yeah.
And I said, no. Probably not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it.
It's situational too, though, isn't it? Like, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, but in comedy, every situation.
That's what I mean, like, it's you're fucked.
Yeah.
Basically, unless you if I had only 500 yards to drive, I would bring the car.
Yeah.
To force myself to just drive back up the road again.
I know.
Because it's a fucker, like, when I have public transport in it, my weakness is sauce. Like, I would just be on it straight away.
Same.
Like, just try, well, what do other people do during the day? Like, you know.
I know. I think as well, it's a relaxant, or like, I get kind of anxious about things, and so like I always have to. I used to smoke loads, and then I don't smoke anymore. But like wine then became the thing. Like I'll have a glass of wine because it kind of calms me a bit. Obviously, because
I totally get it though.
Yeah.
But even that now, like, because today's been at 100 fucking miles an hour, and that fake beer, I'm happy enough.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, yeah.
I know, it's just a calming sauce. It's a calming sauce. That's what I think it is. But I'm actually, even though I'm only a day, because I know I'm doing a month, and to be honest, I'd say I can't remember the last time I gave booze any break, apart from when I was like 13 and like legally wasn't in a position to do it. Like, I've always been a big drinker, so I'm actually quite nervous about the next month. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. It's the truth.
And what's your mechanism going to be to dodge it? You look under pressure already.
I am. It sounds. It was only because when my boyfriend kind of challenged me to do it.
Yeah. The ignoramus in you just went, I can't take this up.
I thought about it, and I was like, he's asking me to do something here. He obviously has a concern.
Yeah. Does he drink?
He does drink, yeah, but he would think that he wouldn't drink as regularly as I would drink.
Yeah.
When he drinks, he would drink way more than me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
See, I was able to reset. I came off it for a year, 3 years ago.
Right, how did it land?
I did it, but by fuck, I'm not joking with you. I had to avoid, like, I was quite literally became so antisocial on the comedy scene, because I was running in, how are you lads? And lads were asking me then going, are you still off the beer, Tom? And I was like, yeah, I am, yeah. And I was going, am I addicted? Or is it more that I fucking really like it?
Yeah.
So, you know, because I could go it's not that I need a drink in the morning or something, but in the situation of a comedy club, there's nothing more, or even just out with the lads.
Yeah.
So I avoided it, and I think I did about 11 months, I think.
Wow.
But what I did was a reset. Because after about the third month, I had a control over it. It's like, all right, yeah, I can do this. And I found myself doing more shit outside of, you had to come up with something. And I think, it was about 11 months, and Edinburgh was the hardest though.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I found a gym, and it was, you know what, it wasn't an enjoyable Edinburgh either, because I physically had to avoid the pub. It wasn't like somebody who'd never drank. And then but it reset my system though. Now I could genuinely go 2 weeks without a drink, and then enjoy 5 pints.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Enjoy them like chocolate bars. You know what I mean? Like a fat child in the corner just going, oh, these are delicious.
Yeah.
Like anything, I suppose. But I wouldn't deny myself it again for a long period. I don't deny myself it. If I drank 3 days on the trot, fair enough. But I know I'll be okay to do a month. If I need, if it was the situation called for it, like, you know.
See, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
That's why I said I would do it, because firstly I was like, am I doing it for him? Because I don't want to do that, because that just makes it weird.
Yeah. Oh, completely.
No, I'm not doing it for him. I'll do it for myself, but he did it because he suggested it, because I'm always asking him to do shit for me.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is a fair enough. And they say relationships are about compromise.
Yeah.
So I was like, grant. But that's what I need to do. I need to reset myself, because it's become such a part of my life. Because I'm like, oh, I'm writing. Jeez, I'm writing. I better have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
I'm meeting the girls for lunch. Jeez, I better have a glass of wine. In the evening, oh, it's the evening time. I'll have a glass of wine. And it just rolls into one, and rolls into suddenly you're just like putting the wine away like it's going out of fashion. So that's what I need to do. I'm resetting myself. But now I went down to the kitchen last night, and I was like, I've been sober for 16 hours. I've had 4 showers, 6 cups of peppermint tea. Suddenly now it's like a diet. Suddenly now that I know I can't have it.
Yeah, because you definitely don't want to put it over on him, because then...
No, it can't have anything to do with him.
Because then, if anything, you'll get fucking angry at him, because you're like, you fucker.
Yeah.
You made me do this.
No,
shit.
and then it's all being like judged and everything.
Yeah.
So no, it's not. It's just, so I suppose it's like Lent. I've just never done it.
Yeah.
I've never done it. And I have such strong, it's like what you were saying, I've such strong associations with alcohol around work.
Yeah.
So like we've the Galway Comedy Festival coming up soon. I'm like, I've never done a festival like that not drinking, or I'm doing PJ's tour with him. I've never, I'm not going to be drinking in and around the gigs. Anyway, look, I'll survive. It's a first world problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Nah, fuck it is, but it's our world.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we can get bitchy about it and all the rest of it. And are you out in Dundleary then?
Yeah, I'm in Dundleary, yeah.
Great drinking spots around Dundleary too, you see. That's the
I
problem.
know. But in the winter, it's not so bad. Like, the summer, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did Edinburgh off the booze.
Sure, it's fucking
I know, I sound like a dipso, and I suppose I am a bit, but it's... like you were saying, when you're off the drink then... Like, I actually don't particularly like... I don't like being drunk.
Yeah.
I'm not a great drunk. I don't like being drunk. I just kind of leave. Like, I just kind of leave everywhere I am and I go home. I don't really have to crack when I'm drunk. But... yeah, I'll be hopefully hiking mountains in no time and doing all that kind of living that alternative life.
By the time I got to Edinburgh, I had started at the beginning of the year. So I had come up with like mental mechanisms to go, I know you're grand.
Yeah.
Do you know, you're grand. Like, had Edinburgh been in February, I would have been climbing the fucking wall. I would have been licking the fucking taps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wouldn't have fucking
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And this one will go out tomorrow.
Okay.
How was Cork, actually? Yeah.
Which Cork? Bite Me Cork? Or
Bite Me Cork,
Bite Me Cork. Do you know what? It was actually very good.
Really?
I was a little worried because...
I sent you a message on Instagram because no other comedians ever... You may not have spotted it, but it was like, fucking cab at it, you know, kind of a thing. Like,
thanks.
Well, comedians don't do it for each other. Like,
No, they
you know
don't,
what I mean?
no.
People think it's a big team. Like, it's not at all.
No, it's
like,
not.
It's
not really, no. Like, you have your friend... Like, friends,
yeah.
But, like, there's some definite, like, clicky clicks.
But then a lot of people, you have to be quite self-involved too, like, so, because it is, you just don't have a choice. If you weren't, you wouldn't be on top of your game, like, you know, that kind of way. So you do have to be a bit fucking selfish, like.
Yeah, you do.
So it's not any badness. Like, you would high-five the person if you were there.
Of course.
But it was just whatever way, you put it up, and I went, fuck, yeah, because it was the Everyman. I remember that you put up something from the dressing room and went, fuck, the last time I was there, I was shitting bricks. Yeah. And that's what just popped through. And then this is your own show. I was just on a line-up that night, like, you know.
So it was 3 nights we had down there, and like the Everyman is, I think it's bigger than the Abbey.
It is, yeah. It's 600 or 700.
Yeah, and so I was worried about tickets. I was like, Jesus.
Because even if you sell 150 or 200 or 300, fuckers will all sit at the back.
I know.
You know?
I'm like, move them up. So. And as well, Bite Me, it's kind of a weird show. Like, it's not traditional stand-up. It's like dark comedy theatre.
Yeah.
But it sold well, thank God. I like, genuinely, I was nicely surprised. I didn't sell it out or anything, but the 3 nights were... I had a generous crowd. Like, I never felt on my own in there. The bottom was pretty generously full, so I was like, grand. Yeah. So I was thrilled. And the Cork audiences, they're very sound. Yeah. They laugh at all the right bits, because the show, sometimes I feel like people, maybe some bits they've said to me after, they're like, I didn't feel I could laugh at that bit, because if I laugh, because it's about eating disorders basically. Yeah. Like, if I laugh, then I'm kind of complicit in the mentalness of it. But no, they laughed at all the right bits and all.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know. That's all you want.
But that's it. What I often find with Cork, they tend to know their stuff all right, but they can be quite almost conservative is the wrong word, but almost too considerate about things like that. You know what I mean? Where they go, oh Jesus, should I laugh at this now?
Yeah.
Look, we're all in this dark room together, kind of a moment.
What they do in the Everyman, which I really like, is they do a Q&A after shows.
Oh, class.
Well, I suppose shows that have a theme. So me and PJ did Separated at Birth there, which was a show about adoption. We did a Q&A after that, and we did a Q&A after Singlehood, which was the first show I did, and then we did a Q&A after Bite Me, and that was actually my favourite part, because it's in the bar after, and there was maybe like 35 people there, and it was me and Eoghan McDermott, the director, and Julie, who's the creative or the artistic director of the Everyman, and I've never really spoken to an audience about the show after the show. So that was really interesting, just hearing their thoughts and like their questions, and we actually changed some of the show off the back of it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a really smart thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't get, positive criticism that you can genuinely mould the show as it goes on. You would never, like, all you ever get here, like the last time we were here in the International last night, and all you're going to get is somebody half drunkenly going, fair play to you.
Yeah, I know. It's different. It's different with comedy. It's hard to take, I mean, if you were taking an audience's critique of your jokes, geez, you'd be there all day. Yeah. But because this is different, because it's storytelling,
right?
Then like, and there's a whole production and stuff. So, for example, we use this chair to represent the eating disorder, and we stopped using that after Cork because the director was thinking about it, and then she kind of tested it with the audience. They're like, yeah, you don't need it, that's gone.
Okay.
Just like that's real class. Helpful stuff like that. Yeah.
So it just, tightens it up, no end. And but I was just going to go back, like you did Singlehood, and that was that 8 of you all telling
I think so, yeah.
And then, was it there, from there then did you go into stand-up, or did you join PJ to do your separated at birth show? Because that must have been some mind blower. Do you know what I mean? Which one did you...
So Singlehood was first.
Yes.
So Singlehood was, I was rocking around, not doing a lot. I was working at the time, or no, I was off work sick at the time, and Una, the director of Singlehood, I knew her.
Cool.
From around, I'm best mates with her younger sister. And she was working in the civil service, slowly losing the will to live.
Yeah.
And I was working in PR, slowly losing the will to live.
Yeah.
And she was moving into theatre, and she had this idea for this show. She does kind of documentary style theatre. So it was called Singlehood. So it was a nice kind of broad topic, and it was half real people, in inverted commas, and then half comedians, like professional stand-ups, all on stage talking about their experiences of being single or being in a relationship or, you know, gay, straight, married, whatever it was. And she asked what I liked to do it, and I said yes straight away.
But she must have seen something in you, though, being a gas bastard or something going, she's
funny. No, to be honest.
She must have. You wouldn't ask any dog in the street, like, you know what I mean? You'd ask somebody you know that's fully capable. Like, you must be some crack for the stories. Like,
I think she thought that I wanted to perform. And I didn't know Una well at the time, to be honest. She obviously saw maybe the storytelling thing.
Right,
yeah. And that I was single, obviously, at the time. And she saw that storytelling thing, I think. But she was the person who kind of put me on stage first, which I was very grateful for. And then that was really cool because we were telling stories, and then I just luckily being broken up with by this bald lad, and I was reeling from that.
Right.
So at the time,
that like he just a bald lad.
It was so because the whole thing was that I think I had just turned 30. I was 29 or 30. I was tipping into the 30s.
Okay, right.
And this lad had kind of, I think he'd asked me out a couple of times, and I'd said no. And then, now I mean, the story's obviously hammed up, but it was the thing of like, right, he's bald, I'm not into it. And then once I hit 30, I said, fuck it.
Have at it.
Yeah. Let's just do this. And then I fell for him like I do with pretty much anyone who looks sideways at me, and I totally fell for him. And then he broke up with me 3 months in, and I was like, yeah, I was like, do you know you're bald? This conversation sounds like you think you got a full head of hair. So I went in with that story anyway, and then that was doing well in Singlehood because it was just stupid. And then off the back of that, PJ was like, look, PJ joined the cast, and he said, I think you should give stand-up a go.
Yeah.
And I'd never thought about stand-up ever. Like, I was like, no, I'd never really watched it. I didn't really know that much about it. So I said no. I always thought I'd just go back to PR. And then he very kindly was like, look, I'm going on tour with Eric Lawler as his support. And he's like, you can come on tour with me, and you can be like this kind of open spot in the middle of the tour.
Scenario, like.
Yeah, and learn the ropes, as it were. So I said, yeah, right, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, and I was kind of at a stage because I was still in treatment for an eating disorder at the time. I was in treatment Monday to Friday, and then gigging at weekends.
Jesus.
And I was at a stage where I was like, something has to change. I don't want to go back to my old job. I really like this new thing I'm doing, which is stage stuff and comedy and all. So maybe I wouldn't have, if I'd been healthy and happy in my old job, I never would have had the balls to jack that in.
I suppose at that stage you're all out, aren't you? You're just like, all my fucking chips. Come on, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was in a position where I could investigate it and see what happened. And then really soon after the tour, we wrote Separated at Birth then with Una because we were both adopted, and then luckily...
What a stroke of luck.
I know!
Of all the people, like, you just roll the dice and go...
I know, it was incredible, really. And like, even the adoption stuff, it turned out, like, PJ had found his birth parents, and they were from Roscommon.
Right.
I'm sure you know this story. They'd gone on to marry each other, and so his birth parents are still like married, and they have a whole family down in Roscommon. And I was laughing because, nothing against Roscommon, but I just...
No, I'm totally thinking exactly what you're thinking.
He's so
he looked
dumb.
out. He fucking looked out big time. Like,
he's so
can
dumb.
you imagine him being in Roscommon? Like,
It's so weird.
Like, just footing turf.
It's so
imagine
weird.
PJ Gallagher footing fucking turf right now.
It's hard to imagine, isn't it? And because he's such a dub, and when I heard that, I was laughing, kind of imagining this alternative life he could have had.
That would be so funny.
And
God, we need to do it almost. Do you know what? PJ Gallagher almost. If we ripped off Damo and Ivor a bit and did like the Roscommon PJ Gallagher and the Dublin PJ Gallagher finally get to meet because it was another twin.
But he has a brother. It was his own story, but he has a brother down there who's the spitz.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, that's his own story. That's his own story. But anyway, it transpired that I went on to find my birth parents while we were riding separated at birth, and it turns out mine are from Roscommon as well.
No.
Yeah, so my birth parents are from Castlerea, and he's from Ballinadreen. And they're very close to each other. Yeah, so there was all these mad coincidences. And then when we finished touring that, again, I just got lucky with time. Jennifer Maguire was leaving Republic of Telly, and I somehow wangled that gig, even though I didn't know. In hindsight, I don't think I should have got that gig. As in, I didn't have the experience. I don't think it really played to my strengths that much. I don't think I had any strengths at the time, really.
Yeah. But the only thing I would say though is that you faked it well anyway. If you did, you know what I mean?
It was grand, but it wasn't. I just the whole time I was in there, it was like, what am I doing? Like,
I get you.
I don't know what I'm doing. And Telly's one of those jobs where you get in and then you're kind of on your own. Like, no one really tells you what to do.
No, there's no book.
No.
Because the last thing anybody wants to tell you is something that's going to fucking help you. That's the bottom line, Joanne. Okay. That's the bottom fucking line.
Alright, okay, so what do you want from me? Sketches? Oh, grand. I've absolutely no experience with that, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll write sketches. But it was just really, I just got really lucky with timing.
Yeah.
Loads and loads of luck and loads of decent timing.
That's class though.
Yeah, it was great.
Because the whirlwind coming off, it must, over what time period was that roughly? Because you're younger than me, aren't you?
34.
Yeah, I'm 36. Yeah. So, Jesus, even over a 3-year period.
It was 3 years.
That's a lot, even in 3 years.
It was like, it rolled, it's just started kind of rolling. Like, and that's not to say, like, as in there was just jobs there.
Yeah.
I mean, I still hadn't a pot to piss in money-wise or anything like that, but I got lucky and I worked hard, and I suppose there was probably a gap in the market at the time.
There was, of course.
There wasn't a lot of, you'd swear this was like 30 years ago, but I know now there's a ton of female stand-ups kind of like working the clubs and stuff, but at the time there wasn't really that. Even a couple of years ago, there really wasn't. And
what if there was, they weren't putting their back into it.
No,
equally there was probably 15 times more blokes that weren't putting their back into it.
Yes, of course.
And that's the way sometimes the numbers can be a bit skewed. Like, but you'd be one of the small few that went, no, I'm dropping the handbrake on this and we're going full fucking throttle. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why. But like, you can see people that get handed stuff get lucky. Yeah. And then they shit the bed. They don't put the work in. Like, so there's a reason why one thing moves on to the next. Yes. You would have fucking died at the first hurdle if you didn't fucking put your foot.
And I remember at the time, because there was talk at the time that I suppose, like any industry, it did look like I was kind of given this comedy job. And there was, I suppose people were kind of they were bitching or whatever about it. And I remember talking to PJ about it, and I was like, I feel like because they were saying to me, you skipped all the graft.
Yeah.
You skipped all the graft and you didn't deserve, like, that gig should have gone to someone else. And I remember saying it to PJ, and he was like, but I saw stand up in you, and Jason Byrne saw stand up in him and brought him on tour and did that for him. And he's like, so I wouldn't have brought you on tour if I thought you were going to die in your hell every night. I wouldn't have done that.
But that's the thing.
What I mean? Like, so I was like, it's not to say.
But also, you see, I had zero animosity towards you. Because in a previous life as a civil engineer, I came in way too young. Almost, and I got gigs that paid me money I should have never gotten. Yeah. But I busted my hole and put in fucking savage money like that. But it was the same thing. So by the time I got to stand up and I saw things like this, it was like, if you're fucking good enough, you're old enough. You know what I mean? Or if you're old, you know what I mean? And by the time you started any sort of stand-up, you lived an actual fucking life.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing a lot of people forget. Like, when you're 22, you know fuck all.
I think
you know what I mean? You know fuck all. And you're trying to relate. The last night we were here, what was the average age in the room? Probably our age would be the average, and older people as well. Do you think anybody in around our age is going to listen to somebody 21?
I know.
How the fuck? Like, unless they've got fucking one-liners or something like.
I remember. I'm always actually really grateful that I got into comedy like late, I suppose, in comparison to a lot of people, because like that, I have lived a small half a life up to when I was 30 anyway. Yeah. With no, like, I'm in no way jaded. I'm still totally enthusiastic about it. I do have opinions on shit because I'm, not the 17-year-olds don't have. Yeah, I've done stuff. I've done some stuff, and I've stories to tell and that kind of thing. Like, there's a guy over in the UK that I gig with sometimes, Elliot Steele.
Oh yeah.
And he started doing, and his dad's a very famous stand-up. His dad's Mark Steele. But he started doing stand-up when he was like 18, and I was like, what? Like, I was still playing with dolls. I would not have fucking clue what to talk to people about at 18 years of age.
You probably thought you did. But
to be cynical about it, or to be self-aware, to be able to write gags about the way I behave, or I wouldn't have had a body. Not a clue. I still don't have a clue.
I know, but again, there's no handbook on it. But at least if shit is going off the rails, you can go, there's something I can pen here. Like, or if you were hosting a show and somebody was piping up about something, you may have run over that person sometime in your life. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're like 18, you're like, so what's the deal with Nando's?
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
What the fuck are you?
And to be like, I'm not. I think your man Elliot Steele is really good. Yeah. Like, that's why I'm so shocked. Like, I've gigged him loads of times, and I was like, he's so good. But
he got handed the handbook.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But he did get handed the handbook. Like.
He would have watched his dad doing it. I think people can come in all sorts of ways into stand-up, and there's no right or wrong way. And I think the danger is in, and I've had to check myself on this as well, is like comparing yourself to other people, or deciding that you were entitled to that gig over the person who got it. Yeah. And that's just a that's just a dangerous pit to go down. So yeah, I avoid that at all costs.
It's a dangerous thing, all right. And I see it, like I saw it a bit early on, because I wasn't brought in, definitely didn't get the arm around me in the comedy circles right at the beginning anyway, because people didn't understand, why was Tom doing this when he has no issues? I was doing it because I like telling jokes and stories. And it's probably more of an egomaniacal fucking thing than, hey, look at me, I got into some stories. That was most likely what it was. And this only really kind of came up on another podcast a couple of weeks back, and I never really thought too much about it, but the guy that had the podcast, who used to do comedy back then, he goes, people couldn't wrap their head around you. It's because you were coming in with no artist.
Where's the darkness?
Yeah, what's wrong? Where's his, has he got a club foot or something? What's up with him? I was like, this fucker's too happy. He's fucking telling jokes and he's enjoying himself. Like, so they're definitely, and then when Damo and Ivor came around, it was like, what the actual fuck how the fuck did this happen? Like, he's not even from the province, let alone from where he's supposed. It's like, I don't know either.
Did you audition for that, or how did you that job come around?
I got the sketches on Republic of Telly. That was through purely getting to know Jules Call, and introduced to Andy on a night out that I was steaming, having crack with it, and the accent made him laugh, because he was like, your face looks so obnoxious when you do that face. It was so absolutely. I was probably mangled drunk too, but then when we did that and it got picked up as a TV show, I did have to re-audition for my part.
Very good. Okay, yeah.
And there was 27 others went for my part. But I went, you're not fucking getting it, you cunts.
Yeah.
Not a hope. And I went to the nth degree. I wouldn't break character when I walked in. Nothing. Walked in tubes, the collar up, the fucking sailing jacket on.
This is my job.
And I've talked about this in the podcast before, but there was a bit to be done. Like, just as close as you're sitting to me, there was 6 people over in the Exchequer Hotel right next to us. And there were 6 of them all there. And there was like this, Jesus Christ, she was a child. She was only about 18. Was feeding me the lines.
Yeah.
And I was talked direct to camera, and there was a scene, and they wanted 5 different scenes off book, which was no other character got that fucking put to him, like. So I had to do 5 scenes off book, and then one of the scenes was reading through a letterbox. So I went, well, I'm gonna see can I make him laugh during this. So I bought a letterbox and pulled it out of my jacket and talked through it at him.
See, going the extra mile.
And I didn't know that was going the extra mile, but I figure if I do make him fucking laugh, because this is a comedy, and it's a goofy fun, a bit of a goof, like, and straight away, apparently the director saw it and went, is that the guy that was already, because I don't give a fuck. I don't need to see the rest of it. If your man's mad enough to buy a fucking letterbox. Like. So but there definitely was kind of an attitude, like, you know what I mean, which is fine by me.
There always is, but like without sounding like a total dickhead, I think people who are very successful don't usually have that attitude. No. So they're just keeping their eyes focused on what's ahead.
Never look backwards, Joanne.
Do you know what I mean?
We're having some self-help.
Keep the blinkers on and just keep looking and don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Even though sometimes it is hard because you're like, oh my God, I would have been perfect for that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that's just your ego talking. Yeah. The truth is you weren't perfect for it. If you were, you would have got the fucking job.
It's true, yeah. No, I mean, there's horses for courses too, because there's times like even when, like, I'm not doing the Galway Festival this weekend, but in fairness to Kevin, he went, I've had you over here about 20 times during the year. Yeah. And I gave it a Tom Green run, which is a nice payout too. Like.
I mean, you're not going to win them all either.
And the fact that he said it, was like, that's absolutely no problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but there was a year or two ago, I would have been, for fuck's sake.
I've noticed actually that, and it's only from seeing, like, that happens. Like, I'm not going to say whatever, but I've seen some comedians doing, like, maybe weren't booked for that festival, and I was like, I'd say they would have expected to have been booked for this festival or that festival or whatever. And that's just the job, isn't it?
But that's it. Well, what can you? They owe you nothing.
Exactly.
Nobody owes you anything.
This is the thing. No one owes you anything.
We did a gig, I remember years ago. Myself and Jim Elliott. Jim always wanted to record an album of comedy because he's American and he loves things that are cool, you know. And I went, all right, well, let's do it. And he went, because this is over pints, like talking shite. And I went, no, let's do it. I know a fella that'll film it. We'll just get a spot and book in a bunch of comedians. And he went, oh. So we went and did it. And we quite literally, and it was comedians that didn't have agents and stuff. And people, it was more, we'll call them underground for the want of a better word. And it was in the Mercantile. And we quite literally picked out, I think it was out of about 35, 36 comedians. We picked out names, 10 comedians. Grand job. Filmed it. The film is footage still sitting there. Jim made a ton of CDs. I think he sold it enough to make his back, his money back.
Really?
Anyway, so, but people in Tel Aviv and stuff bought, bizarre. It was funny to do it, like, but it was funny. Jim got a ton of fucking shit about the lineup.
Why?
Because people weren't on it. And people that had nothing to do with comedy.
What?
Yeah, and anybody who, like, there was a few were like, oh, another sausage fest I see. I won't name the comedian that said it, but it was like, you fucking joking me. Yeah. And what was brilliant was two other mates that are, female comedians jumped on and went, what the fuck? Just a lad's gig. And by the way, I can't see, both of them pretty much in their own words said, I'm not better than any of the lads. And the lad, we rang everybody, in fairness, or text everybody going, just to let you know, we're putting on a gig, and this is how we picked it. And everybody else went, grand job. It was the outsiders went, oh, so there's nobody over 40 on it, I see.
Yeah.
And there's nobody black on it. So there's nobody black doing comedy in Dublin right now. What the fuck?
I know.
And everybody was doing it for free. It was just
so annoying.
It was just a free in, but that was an epitome. But what was hilarious was nobody came near me. Nobody. Jim texted me because how much shit are you getting over this? Huh? I went,
nothing.
None, because they know what I tell them. Fuck off. This is not a public service.
This is the thing.
It's not a public service.
Exactly, it's not a public service. And as well, we were talking about this down in Cork one night after the show. We were saying there's this kind of like trend to be outraged at the moment, and everyone, not every single thing you go to or you listen to is going to be equally represented by every single member of society. It's just not going to happen.
But then it's going to be shite, most likely, if it is.
And that's the thing as well. I think if lineups become, there has to be this, and I mean, there definitely needed to be a shift towards more women in comedy. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. But if you get into a world where you're like, every single lineup has to have this age demographic represented and this race represented and this gender represented and all those things, you're going to end up with shit lineups because it's not necessarily going to reflect the skills and talents that are out there, I think.
No, you're right, because this is put to me on more.
Sorry, just to finish. I don't want to be put on a lineup because I'm a woman. I don't want to be put on a lineup. I want to be put on a lineup because I'm a good stand-up.
That makes me fucking angry. Like, it's like, no. Comedian first, whatever gender after.
Yeah.
And if they're good, that's what's fucking should be up for.
Yeah.
because it was put to me on an afternoon TV show, and it was put to me in a scathing way. Like, do you think there should be more women in comedy? And I don't know why they thought for some reason I was some sort of fucking Neanderthal. I was like, because you're that sort of guy. I went, no. Fuck that. Some of the most fucking toughest people I know are women. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I snapped and went, yeah, I do. I want exactly the same amount of women doing it as men. And then you'll find there's just as many shit men as there is shit women. And all the cream will come to the top, because I don't want this argument ever again.
Yeah, I agree.
And that way we can... And I want anybody in between either. If I want transgenders as well, because then... all this is off the table. There's no more fucking talking about it. Like,
but I don't want to be booked for a gig. Like, when I was starting out, like, I wouldn't want to be booked for a gig I wasn't ready for, just because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And then I go up there and die on my ass in front of 600 people in a fucking
Some people
street
can
or whatever.
fool themselves, Joanne. Like, I did a gig a couple of months back, and there was male and female on it, and I was closing the show or whatever, and it was a terrible gig. It was in a weird fucking place, and it was just fucking terrible. And any of the laughter was coming from way back down the room. The other people had bought tickets. It was a GAA fundraiser. Nobody really wanted to be there, but they were buying tickets just to support their GAA. And everybody was coming in going, nice. Like, I nailed it. You're going,
oh, yeah.
And that was a perfect example. I went, I'm going to suck a dick out here. I know I am. Even if I am the headliner, I know I'm still going to be sucking 10 Mickeys on this stage.
Some gigs you just know.
I just know. Yeah. And I went out there and I gave it gusto. But I'd say...
for 5 Mickeys.
5 Mickeys. For 25 minutes, I'd say there was 8 laughs.
Yeah.
You know?
It's tough, isn't it? But sometimes when you're like, look, I know this is going to be a shit show, and you resign yourself to it. I imagine it's like accepting death when you're drowning. You just kind of accept it. And then it's kind of peaceful, and you don't fight against the current. You just let it happen.
I was kind of glad that I didn't disappoint my previous thoughts beforehand, because I was going, no.
You just let it happen.
And I actually started laughing to myself on stage and went, geez, this is some shit, lads, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it come on out for it. Like, this will give you an example of what we were dealing with. Where we're sitting right now, we're 1 foot from the stage in the go. This guy was exactly where we are, but he is back. He's fucking back to me like that, going, like, who's this cunt?
Yeah, so you don't stand a chance sometimes.
What do we do? And it was weird, because I'd come off like 5 days of having great fun gigs, you know what I mean? And then this is like just somebody fucking hit you with a hurley in the face. Like,
this is reality,
reality.
Don't get ahead of yourself now, Tom.
It's great though. It is great, because you know yourself, like, you'll come away from rocking 5 gigs in a row, and then all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck, just all right, I'm not for everybody, I see.
I think Edinburgh, because this was my first Edinburgh, and I think Edinburgh definitely gave me an extra layer, like an extra kind of bulletproof layer that bulletproof is the wrong description, but is in I wouldn't be affected by things as
the same
much.
way, and I described this as almost like a mental cauliflower ear. Do you know the way rugby players don't feel it anymore in their ears?
Yeah.
You kind of just get that fucking, this film comes over your brain. It's like the embarrassed, sore, hurting parts. Like, nah, you're grand.
Yeah, this is just the gig.
We're going to get through this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get through this. You can do what you fucking want. Like,
yeah.
You know?
It's great. Like,
it is, because prior to, where were you in Edinburgh? What venue were you at?
The Assembly, the Roxy Room. Yeah, so it was about a 60-seater. So that had great highs and great lows.
Yeah.
Huge.
And what time of the day were you at?
6. So because Bite Me isn't stand-up, so I was doing Bite Me at 6 every day, and then I was doing stand-up at night wherever I could, so that I could try and get some, like, establish myself as a stand-up over there. Yeah. So I was doing 2 shows most days. Like, I've never been so happy to come home from anywhere in my life. Yeah. I was like, it's like a
shitty long weekend. It's great for the first week, and then you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's the constant. Yeah. And the show is like the break.
Yeah.
As in, there's so much flyering and selling of the show that goes into getting people in to see the show that and I got reviews, but not until the last week.
Oh, Jesus
Christ, so I was like, the show feels like the break. The show's like the downtime. It's like the downtime.
Yeah.
And all the work goes in before the show and after the show. I wouldn't say I enjoyed Edinburgh, but I learned loads. It's American now. I learned loads. I'm really excited. I'll go back every year until I don't do comedy anymore, I'd say.
Yeah. It's a tough one, alright. I remember my first ever gig in Edinburgh was to 7 people. And
hi, yes.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was 3 o'clock in the day. I was doing a split show with a northern comedian, Sean Hegarty, and this woman just started breaking down crying.
Yeah. What? Why? Yeah. What did you say?
Nothing. It was nothing to do with me. She just was steaming drunk, and I think she just wanted to be off the street.
Oh.
And she was steaming drunk, and she just started roaring, crying.
I've been that woman.
I have. And
sometimes you just want to cry. Like.
Yeah, no, I got it. I got it. And if everybody else is on board, I was, you know what I mean. This is my first ever show. It's like, Mrs., could you not have done this like in my 20th show?
And what can you do? You can't like bring it into the show. Like it's too sad.
Fucking shit and everything. But I said it to her. I said, is everything okay? What's up? She's like, I've had a drink. I went, you have? Do you want to go upstairs to finish off some more drinks? And my now wife, girlfriend at the time, she was sitting at the back of the room and she just kind of went, Jesus Christ, I see her head sticking up like a gopher.
God.
And she kind of put her arm around her and says, come on, we'll go outside. And she's like still wailing it. She's I just want to tell you why I'm crying, okay? And I've every right to cry. It's a month since my father was stabbed to death outside the door of this place. And you're going, fuck! What did you just say?
Tom, this is the best story ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've told this, trust me, anytime I've been in Edinburgh, it's pretty much my first opening story. And people are like, oh, they feel sorry for me immediately. And go, and she brought her outside. And the problem was, the door was quite a light timber door. So you could hear most things immediately outside it, but it was quiet all of the day bar. She couldn't get her up the stairs out of the fucking venue. So she was outside the door for a good 25 minutes wailing. So I got about 5 minutes to myself to actually have some comedy on with no crying. And I got reviewed on that very first show. There was a reviewer, was one of the other people.
That's just cruel.
And they went ahead and made no reference to it. Made no reference to it and gave me 2 stars and said, O'Mahony doesn't even look like a stand-up. What the fuck does a stand-up look like?
Oh, that's so funny.
What the fuck does a stand-up look like?
I'm reading Michael McIntyre's book at the moment, and he was saying his first review was, Michael McIntyre is like a Marks and Spencer's jumper. Durable, but absolutely nothing special. So, like, everyone gets shit reviews.
That's a pretty good review, though. In fairness, a story, and as analogies go, that's pretty funny in its own right. Like, but I think when I looked into it, the student that had reviewed me, she was 19 and she was studying horticulture.
Here.
What the fuck, like?
This is the thing. I think because of the pressure of the amount of acts that want to be reviewed in Edinburgh, should they just hire?
Well, anybody, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't think they are experienced.
I think what we should do next year is go as. Yeah, well, it's not a bad idea. Set up our own festival here, non-Edinburgh festival, the off fringe here in Dublin. Or we could go in there, just apply to be reviewers.
Can you do that?
Under a pseudonym.
There was a show this year and I didn't see it, and I was raging. I slept in, actually. It was on in the morning. Well, actually, they used to change the time of it, but it was called Talking Through Your Arse.
Right.
Did you hear about this?
Mm.
And it was 4 women.
I only heard the name of it, but
sitting with their back to the audience, wearing no pants, so you could see their arse. And they were reading out reviews of shows and then like basically shredding the reviews. And they had Katie Copstick and stuff were doing voiceovers for it.
Right.
Yeah, it was supposed to be brilliant. It was basically just undermining the entire review system. Yeah, because it is bullshit. Like, I mean, you could go in, some shows, they might have 2 reviewers in and one reviewer gives it 5 and the other reviewer gives it 2. Like, you just don't know.
I remember Garode telling me that on the same tour, like, he got 1 star and a 5 star. Yeah. Like, so there is no uniformity, like, you know what I mean? There is a lot to be said for if you stood back and looked at Edinburgh and said, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Because it's like the last year I did it was 2 years ago, and it was across the way from me was a fucking gang of lads, posh lads from Dublin, or posh lads from London. They were all called things like Toby.
Yeah, and my kind of lads.
Toby and Tom seemed to be, a lot of them were called Tom, and there was like 5 or 6 of these fuckers, and they did sketch comedy through the medium of ukuleles.
Oh,
yeah, and you could hear it through my door. And and I was getting decent numbers in, like, and these fucking lads across the way. So like day 5, the lads are playing to like 3 people. They weren't flying around because they were on like gap year. You know what I mean? They were all 18 lashing into the wine. And I had to get my crowd down.
What a lovely Edinburgh.
Yeah.
No pressure.
None.
Yeah,
None. And they worked out. You could tell everyone. But if you have a look around now, there's a lot of them fuckers around. Any of them who are just kind of dicking about.
Yeah.
They're worth a fortune.
But it's nice to go, like, this year, like, it was almost like a recce, as in I was doing a show and everything, but it's great to get the first one down. So you know what it is to do.
Prepare.
Exactly. You know what it takes. You know what's involved. You know the standard over there, like all those things.
Yeah, because like you put up a picture on Instagram of this old one, and I think she was smoking a fag or something, but I think she was performing. And I think I wrote underneath it. You said something. You were like, "I love this woman" or something. She's only 24, 2 days into the festival.
It just destroys you. Everyone's just decrepit by like the 4th day, and you've got a month.
Yeah.
Anyway, Edinburgh's very boring for people who don't go to Edinburgh.
You spend a fair time. We're nearly done. It's 25 past.
Perfect.
We're nearly. But you do a fair bit in England.
Yeah. So I'm with Off the Curb over there now.
Class.
So that's kind of, I suppose, what is it? It's the same as, it just means they can get you into clubs that you can't. I don't know if I could get into on my own. So we'll see now. I'm going to go hell for leather on the UK in February. I've bits to finish off here. I'm doing a documentary for TV3 at the moment about people who regret having their kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah. I think it's we haven't got a broadcast day for yet. I'm still making it.
Yeah. Because I've seen some of your posts on Instagram. All right, you're there with people's children.
Yes, just like borrowing kids from everywhere, and they're all people, friends of mine who are delighted with their kids. But there's also this massive group of people who are mostly anonymous who regret becoming parents.
Yeah,
See, I'm deciding whether or not to become a parent. This is where this has all come from, and because people say, "Oh, you'll regret it if you don't," and I was like, "Do you regret it if you do?"
Yeah, there definitely is.
Do you kids?
No. We've a dog.
Yeah,
it's great.
But
no, but I've met people. Like I did a gig last Friday night, and just happened to be chatting to a woman afterwards who was thanking. It was a charity gig or whatever, and put it on. And just whatever was she was biting her fucking glass of wine. You know what I mean? She was speaking through her teeth. Speaking in inverted commas lovingly about the fucking weight of her children that they are on her soul right now. It's like, all right.
Was this in the gig?
No, this is afterwards. I was trying to get out the fucking door, like, and she was shaking hands with me, thanking me for it. And I was like, oh, right, yeah, no bother, okay. Jesus. And it was like, wow, you really missed the days of singleton. You know, like, you could see by her, she did not want to.
Were her kids young? Do you know? Did you?
They were relatively young. Yeah, they were 4 and 5, I think. But she was. Jesus, the way she was speaking was like, fuck me. Like, because you would have noticed it as well. Like, people sometimes come up and tell you things they shouldn't be telling you because they've listened to you for an hour and they think, oh, we're all busies now. Yeah. You're like, no, most of the shit I told you isn't true. Yeah, this is shit. And this is shit I told people the other night as well. I
love that though. You feel like, and as well, if you do kind of radio bits, if you're in, I wouldn't be doing enough radio now to get this reaction, but I know from talking to the lads in 2FM that, and I have it myself from listening to shows, if a presenter's in your house all the time on your radio, you do feel like you know them.
Yeah.
And I'd tell them anything.
Yeah.
They wanted to know. But you do at gigs as well, you get people, because they've had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get people telling you real dark shit.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Yeah.
God love that woman, yeah.
Yeah, and so, so I can totally...
It's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
Some people just aren't built for it.
No. And there's this kind of myth that everyone kind of slides gracefully into motherhood and is equipped for it and ready for it and is happy to sacrifice everything, and it's just not true.
I could see death on parents' faces yesterday. I had to pop in for a fucking light bulb or something, and it was over by Liffey Valley, and they must have kept on going. You know what I mean? They must just, one kid isn't enough, let's just keep pumping.
Yeah.
And they had like the family wagon, and they were all screaming, and the parents, they looked like a fucking environmental disaster, because you knew by them, like, the children were eating the fucking side of the car and everything.
Yeah.
Like, none of you are going to be fucking scientists. Like, you know what I mean? You're not going to benefit anybody.
Yeah.
And the parents just looked like, fuck me.
Yeah.
What have we done?
But then, I've interviewed a lot of parents, and the bottom line, from what I can understand, is they're like, you have to want it, and then when you want it, the really tough times are worth it.
Yes,
for the incredibly rewarding times.
Yeah.
So from in my position where I'm like, I don't think I want it, and I was kind of going, well, I just do it anyway, like, because that's what everyone does.
Yeah,
and the feedback is no, like, it is really tough.
Yeah,
and it's better if you really want a family, and then you won't resent it all.
Yeah, because it's like you're having the crack.
You can't go back.
You can't be having the crack, like.
Can't go back.
You can't go back.
No,
Fucking hell.
Can't go back.
Fucking hell. So I won't keep you much.
I'm sorry, I had to lag it.
If you have to hit, this leaves loads of meat in the bone for another one we do, you see.
Grand, yeah, perfect.
This is it.
We're only getting started.
This is it. Next tour dates of Bite Me?
So I'm in, I don't know the dates, but over the next 2 weeks, I'm in the Axis in Ballymun, and I'm in the Pavilion in Dún Laoghaire, and I'm in the Lyric Theatre in Belfast, and I'm in the Mermaid Arts Centre on Thursday in Bray.
Beautiful. And where can they follow you best?
I'm Joanne McNally on Twitter and Joanne McNally's on Instagram, and my dates and stuff are up there.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm not great on the whole personal admin.
That's all right. You'll be found handy enough. Well, Joe, thank you very, very much.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
No worries.